Hi, I'm Joe Finsternis, and tonight I'm going to be talking to you about a movie called Countdown. Now, this film is a mixture between the Thai and English language, so if you're a person who hates subtitles, you are going to have to contend with some, but at least half the script is in English. So if you can manage, half Thai language with subtitles, then you might want to stick around to hear the synopsis and see if this sounds interesting to you. So anyway, this movie is about three friends who want to celebrate New Year's Eve by getting stoned out of their minds, but when this guy goes to his drug dealer, he discovers that he's decided to become a straight edge. He isn't selling or smoking weed anymore. But then he finds this number for another drug dealer who calls himself Mr. Jesus. Although it is pronounced Mr. Jesus in the movie, I'm going to call him Mr. Jesus for the rest of this video because I like the way that it sounds. Anyway, he calls up Mr. Jesus and has him come over to his apartment to deliver the weed, and for a good amount of running time you just see him interacting with these three friends, all having a good time, getting completely stoned, and it might sound a little boring from the way I'm describing it right now, but it is pretty entertaining to watch. I mean, when Mr. Jesus shows up in the movie, he just chews up the scenery. I mean, he has a lot of funny moments in this, but then as the night progresses, at one point he tells this really disturbing story, which he laughs about, and this kind of scares two of the friends. So the guy decides to give him his money and send him on his way, and that's when things start to take a turn for the worse. Now, when these characters are introduced during the first act of the film, they are pretty unlikable, but I get the impression that this was all intentional, as the film goes on and Mr. Jesus is torturing them both physically and psychologically. There are these skeletons in the closet that come to light, and you realize that these are all people who have done some pretty bad things. So nobody's perfect in this movie, and I kind of like that. And as it does go on, this is one of the few films that I've seen which has been able to keep a steady balance between suspense and comedy, even though Mr. Jesus is doing these horrible things. At the same time, he's acting so goofy and dropping all these one-liners that I couldn't help but laugh with him. Although he did seem to know way too much in the film. Like, he knows more about these three friends than any regular person would know about pretty much anyone. There is a twist at the movie which sort of explains that, and I could see this movie falling apart for some people once that twist occurs, but personally I didn't mind it. I will admit that Countdown may have been a better film if it had the balls to be more mean-spirited and leave off on a more ambiguous note, but it is what it is. I personally had a lot of fun watching it. It's no modern-day masterpiece to me, but if you want to just have fun with some of your horror movies this October, then I would recommend adding this one to your list. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about Countdown. Yeah, these last couple of reviews have been pretty short, but I just haven't had that much to say about them. I don't really want to spoil too much about what happens in them, so I hope you all have a good one.